Here we go, and we are live. Welcome. Today we have an incredible guest. This is last day of our Strategies for Optimal Mental Wellness series that we've been doing all month for Mental Health Awareness Month. And we're bringing in various practitioners that have been sharing their wisdom, their insights, their tools, their strategies. And today we have an amazing guest. My name is Dale LeCure, and I do believe that we all deserve to live a life of optimal health, joy, and abundance. And mental wellness is a huge part of that. So let me introduce my guest today. Her name is Susan Palmer Wood. She is an NLP and Reiki practitioner and an empowerment coach. She has an incredible message to share with you today. So I'm going to turn it over to her. Susan, thank you so much for your time and your wisdom that you are going to impart on us today. I know that you came from a pretty difficult background and you got through, so you're going to help us know that we can too. So take it away.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having me here. It's such a joy to see you, and I love how quickly we connected, and so it's really fun to be here with you. So yeah, as far as empowering and my story, every time I think about this memory and my story, I actually see it a little bit differently each time. And as I was walking this morning, I was thinking about how we're meaning making machines. And so it's not even just the event that's happened, it's the meaning we give that event. And so I would love to just start by kind of taking you back a little bit. And there was a time when it looked like I had everything. I had my act together. I had everything. Life was wonderful. I had a really great 6-figure job. I had a gorgeous husband. I had the big house. I had healthy, happy kids. I was optimistic and positive. And yet what people didn't realize was that on the inside, I was empty, exhausted, frustrated, confused, and at the end of my rope. And my naturopath had actually said, that my health was a ticking time bomb and I needed to stop, and that I didn't want what was next. See, because at this great job, I was working, 70, 80 hours a week, and I was trying to be everything to everyone, and I was doing for everyone else, everyone other than me. And so I was putting on these masks to be enough, to work hard enough. I had been unconsciously programmed very early that success meant working hard. My whole family has a tremendous work ethic. My husband has an incredible work ethic. And so that's what I was really good at. Just naturally, I was really good at work. But on the inside, I still had that imposter syndrome, and so I was constantly striving and doing more. And society also tells us that if you do these things, then you get happy. If you buy these things, then you'll get happy. If you do these things, then you'll be happy. And so I was do, and buying all the stuff, and I was really happy and unhappy. So then it turned into, what's wrong with me? Why can't I be so grateful and happy for everything I have? Why am I so empty? Why am I so lost? Why am I having suicidal ideations? Why am I exhausted? Why am I gaining weight? Why am I just not feeling worthy of what I have? And all of these things just came to a head one morning, and I was in my closet, and I was so exhausted by this point that I couldn't even decide what to put on my body. That decision was just overwhelming. Wow. And so I looked down on my closet floor, and I just looked there, and I laid down, and then I just broke open. I just started crying, because I had tried to hold it together for everybody else as I'm beating myself up. And I was exhausted, and I was sick, and I just cried, and I just made a decision that I couldn't do this anymore. And so I crawled down my stairs and told my husband, I can't do this anymore. And he didn't understand. He had always said, why can't you just say no? Why can't you just leave work? Why can't you just be happy? And I thought, yeah, why can't I? What's wrong with me? And so I had been seeking permission to quit that I wasn't getting. But the thing is I wasn't giving myself permission. And we do that, don't we? We seek permission from everyone else. We seek our validation from everyone else, our okayness, our instruction of what we should do, what we should think, and who we should be. From very young, we're told, stop crying. Don't feel that. That's not what you want. You're not hungry. So we learn early on who we are and how we should feel and what we should think and what we should do. So I was repeating that pattern as an adult. And so on this day, he said, fine, well, you might as well quit. And I remember falling literally, I'm in my 40s, and falling to my knees and saying, thank you, and just crying and smiling and saying, oh my God, this is it. I'm going to quit.
Wow. So talk about, you mentioned, we were talking earlier about the meaning that we give things. Talk a little bit about that and how NLP factors into that.
Yeah. So I had destroyed my cognitive abilities and my physical abilities. And, so when I quit, I actually was able to go on medical leave for a while so that I could take care of myself. And I got the help that I needed and started reflecting on, I had lost my sense of self and who I was and what I liked and what things were meaning. And 3 months later, as I'm recovering, a friend had talked me into going to Utah and had talked me into, along with all of my supplements and everything. And I had really no energy. But on this particular day, we were in Zion and my friend said, hey, would you like to do Angel's Landing? And I said, I don't know what that is, but I'm exhausted and I can't walk very far. And she said, it's okay, we'll turn around anytime, we'll stop anytime. And so we ended up walking and stopping and walking and stopping. And I had no idea what Angel's Landing was. But this walk started turning vertical. And before I knew it, I'm holding on to chains as I'm trying to get up this Angel's Landing, which later I find out is the most treacherous hike in the national park system.
Wow.
And so I'm walking and I'm getting nervous, but I'm like, well, it can't be that much farther. And I'm having to lean off the side of this mountain as people are coming down, and I'm looking straight down. I'm like, oh my God. So what little adrenaline I had, I'm starting to feel, because I had suffered from adrenal burnout. And we get all the way to the top after 8 hours. And I look back and I thought, how did I do that? I just did that. And when I got to the top and I realized, and I looked back and I looked straight down and I lifted my arms up and I said, I'm not broken. There is nothing wrong with me. And I was just so filled with joy. And it was in that moment I decided that I wasn't broken. I decided that I was enough. I decided that things were going to change and that they had changed right then and there. And it was the most exhilarating experience, and what I love to talk about. See, because my candida, chronic fatigue, adrenal burnout, thyroid disease, autoimmune disease hadn't changed in that second, but the meaning of life and my ability changed in that second. And so what took us 8 hours to get to the top took us 4 hours to get down. And I was actually so filled with joy and excitement for starting my life again on my terms that when I got back, I quit this prestigious job. I actually took another job that was about creating healthy, happy workforces, and got my Zumba certification. I started doing things that brought me joy. And I started to experience what was being. Who was I? What did I like? What's my favorite color? What do I do besides work? And I had beautiful kids, and it was time for me to get reacquainted with them and get to know who they were, and vice versa. I did my first Tough Mudder. And so that was the beginning of changing the meaning. And when my youngest graduated and went to college, I noticed, we'll back up a little bit. When I started this new job, I committed that I said that if I'm not happy in a year, I'm going to quit. And I told my husband that too. If I'm not happy in a year, I'm going to quit. And so I saved my money and I did whatever I needed just to make sure that I had those options for myself. But I loved what I did. I loved being with people and being in this really intense culture once before and being to a better one. And anyway, a year and a half later, I started burning out again because I was starting to get sucked back into my old habits. And so I decided a year and a half later, when my son went off to college, I exhaled and said, this is my time. And I don't know what's next, but it's my time. I know it's not this. And so I left my job and I started really looking into joy. And I remembered how much I loved NLP. And so I decided, I don't know if I should tell the story with the book falling off the shelf, but I just
tell the audience exactly what NLP is.
So NLP is neuro-linguistic programming, and it is like a manual for the brain. And to me, it is a set of strategies and beliefs and processes that are based on what the most successful people do. And it is the foundation of empowerment. And it was
like reprogramming the brain.
Yeah, so neuro is the brain, linguistics is language, and programming is seeing things a different way. And so it is literally reprogramming your brain. So it's doing things like helping people get rid of their phobias, within 30 to 40 minutes, helping people with lifelong allergies, get rid of them in 15 minutes, breaking addictions. But even more than that, it's stepping into empowerment and realizing that you have a choice. You can't control necessarily what happens to you, but you can control how you choose to respond. And that's ultimate empowerment.
Absolutely. I mean, what a different way to walk through life.
It really is, because instead of blaming the environment and the situations and my past, I say, oh, I get to decide right now. What is the meaning that I'm making of this situation? Right. What is the meaning? And it's all day, every day that we're making these micro decisions and not taking the pause between cause and effect. And so that's so much power right there. Yeah.
And then the meaning going back to, some past event and how that kind of trickles back to the meaning that we're giving a current event, but it doesn't have anything to do with the current event. It has to do with the past event.
Yeah.
So that's I think where the reprogramming takes place.
Yeah.
So powerful.
Yeah. And so it is. And, as I said in the beginning, is that every time you think of a memory or a situation, you actually think about it differently because you're not the same person. We are continuously changing and growing. So it's impossible to think back to a memory, no matter how real it is, and think about it the same way. So it's almost like a game of telephone where each time you think about it, it changes. And so you may have experienced that, if you're with friends or family and you recall an event and you all see it differently. Have you ever had that?
Right? Absolutely. I'm thinking of something right now, actually.
Yeah. And so it's amazing. And so I had been studying, personal development. I love personal development for 20 years, and yet it was staying in my head and I wasn't embodying it. So I could quote people and do memes and all of this, but I wasn't getting it. I was still locked up in my stuff. And so in the process of learning NLP and doing my own healing, I also learned this powerful technique called mental emotional release therapy. And in doing that is the most powerful tool for me and is what I start all of my coaching clients with. And it's a blend of NLP, hypnotherapy, energy work, past life regression. It's so powerful that you actually can go back from a different perspective so that you can get a different perspective from these events in your life, because it's the lessons that you get from events that really help you grow, not the emotions or the events themselves, right? And our unconscious mind stores our emotions and our memories separately. So in this process, you're able to release these trapped emotions that we have, so in in my childhood, I had these meanings that I wasn't lovable. With this abuse, that meant there was something wrong with me. I had a lot of fear. I had a lot of anger. I had a lot of sadness that was trapped that I didn't allow myself to express. So in this mental emotional release process, I was able to release those old emotions, get a higher perspective of what happened during those times, release it, get the learning, get the empowerment, and take that with me to now so that I can see life through a different lens. And that the release it is like if you're driving in your car and you put your windshield wipers on to clean the window and you can see a little bit better. That's what it's like. It is freedom. It is empowerment, and it is taking back control of your life and having choice instead of I'm this way because.
Right.
It is I am this way because I know who I am. I know what I want. I know where I'm going. Just to have a vision. So many of us know what we don't want, and not a lot of us know what we do want. And so just having that freedom is power.
Liberating.
Yeah, liberating.
Wow. What a different way, like I said, to walk through life, to have control
Yeah.
of your thoughts and the choices that you make. You have total control.
Oops.
Oh, you're skipping out.
Well, and I can't, if I could tell a story. Yeah, we're having some internet stuff.
Yeah.
But
Be with us.
Yeah, so as an example, there's an incredible tool that is called NLP anchoring. And anchoring means evoking a certain feeling or state anytime you want. And it is choosing how you want to feel. So as an example, one day, my husband and I were going to this really cool event with Macklemore and Rihanna and the Seattle Symphony, and it was this amazing event. My daughter had gotten us tickets. Well, on this day, I was feeling fat and ugly and exhausted, and I was like that's literally honestly how I was feeling. And I'm like, oh, I would love to go to this any other day. But I've just been working a ton and I'm exhausted and I don't feel good. And so I didn't want to disappoint anybody. So I'm like, you know what, this is going to be fun. So I put on my Spanx and I put on a dress and I did my makeup and my hair and I put on a big jacket over me. And my husband and I went, and I was kind of shrinking. If you ever aren't feeling enough, but you're in a visible space and you just kind of shrink a little bit. And so I was shrinking behind a coat, kind of like looking at how beautiful everyone looked. I started the comparison game, and I decided to go to the bathroom. Have you ever gone to the bathroom at parties or anything? You just kind of I need to get away from people. Yeah. So I went to the bathroom and I decided, what am I doing? I'm in control of how I feel, and I choose to feel good. And so I decided to remember the last time I felt gorgeous and the last time I felt confident. And so I did this anchoring process where I remembered my wedding day. I remembered the ease and the joy. There was a hurricane coming in Maui, but I didn't care. I felt beautiful and confident. And then I thought of another time when I felt really confident. I had just kept stacking these feelings. Beautiful. And by the time I was done, I took off those Spanx. I put them in my purse. I was ready to go. And I walked out of the bathroom. I took off the coat and I felt like $1 million. And my husband looked at me as I was coming. He said, "What happened to you?" And I just snuggled up to him on his arm and I just kissed him. And I said, "I'm so happy to be here." And I thoroughly enjoyed the concert. I had the time of my life. It was a decision. I decided to feel differently. That's the power and the control that we have.
And then you did look differently.
I did.
When your energy is that.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And so we do, and you've been around people, we feel energy, we feel vibrations, and I love what Oprah says. She had a sign in her studio that said, "You are responsible for the energy you bring into this room." And it's so true. And so I love helping people not only shed those past beliefs and their past stories and the old energy so that they can be empowered and transform their lives, but then also how to create strategies and habits that support them and how they want to feel and be and believe going forward, because it's all a choice, honestly.
Right.
Yeah, it really is.
Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful. So, wow. That was great. I could feel it in you. I was getting excited when you got to the top of that mountain.
It was.
I felt I was there with you. It was awesome. Wow. Amazing. So you get to feel all that. You made the choice to feel that joy and that exhilaration and that new identity to, just pull that into your life. That's fantastic. So tell us where we can get a hold of you. If we want to work with you, you can do remote things. Yes.
I do. 99% of my work with clients is like this. I use the Zoom video conferencing platform. And so I help people around the world. And you can go to susanpalmerwood.com. And I'm also on Facebook and Instagram, and email is susanpalmerwood@gmail.com. But go to my website to learn more and reach out to me. I would love to have a conversation and explore what's possible for you.
Right, right. Oh, there is so much. There's so much more that we can be doing to feel joy. And that's really the bottom line, right? You don't want to just go through life and not really be able to feel joy and become your best you.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for. I mean, we all have gifts to share. And I love it. I love the work you're doing. It's fantastic. And it fits really well into Mental Health Awareness Month. We really do need to just bring in some more strategies. Like you talked about that today, just like what you do in the morning.
Yeah.
Give us an idea. Let's put that out there as well for some tools and strategies.
Sure. So I'm traveling, and this morning I drank my water and I went for a 2-mile walk just to get out in nature and get grounded. I leaned up against a tree and I sat and I put my feet in the ground. I did some, because that grounding really balances the nervous system. And so if you ever feel overwhelmed, you can journal and just get outside into nature, and it calms your nervous system. I did some breathing work. I did some visualization, so that I love this visualization where I saw 15 minutes after the successful completion of our time together. So I saw it as successful, and I saw myself celebrating and having us have a great time. And right, so I am in charge of my results. And so I saw it, I visualized it, and felt that empowerment. I got into an empowered and a calm state of mind, and took care of myself, because when I feel good, then I can be there for other people. And a lot of times, we're told that it's selfish to think about ourselves, but we cannot serve from an empty cup. We have to take care of ourselves first. And that getting help, and finding those strategies is a great way. So those are some of my morning things that I do.
It's fantastic. So you definitely did deliver. You definitely did envision. And I did too. I always, with every interview, it's like I envision that this is going to bring something to someone. And I think we definitely did that. So thank you so much for being here. This is the last day of these types of interviews. I'm going to continue in my other series that I do, From Pain to Purpose. Maybe we can bring you back in again.
Love that. Absolutely. My tagline is powered by purpose. So I would love to talk about that meaning and being powered by your purpose. Yeah.
Awesome. So can I ask you to put in the comments when we're done, put any kind of information you want to share, maybe you have some guided meditations, I don't know, your website, whatever it is you want to share with the audience, you can put in the comments when we get done here, and then people will know how to get a hold of you. Absolutely. So thank you again for being here. I really, really appreciate you. I appreciate your message. I appreciate the energy that you brought to the audience and letting people know that you can decide to give something a different meaning and release that pain, that emotion, and create a new life for yourself. So thank you again. I appreciate it. Any last words?
I think you summed it up beautifully. Just know that you have choice and you deserve to feel good.
Yes. The word deserve is huge.
Yeah. Yeah. So
All
thank you
right.
so much for all that you're doing.
Thank you so much. Have a great weekend, everyone.